Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to the Everyman Theater Kitchen Table Series. I'm Vinny Lanchisi, Artistic Director here at Everyman Theater. We are located on the unceded territory of the Piscataway tribe in Baltimore, Maryland, and I'm thrilled to be able to talk to you for the next half hour and have a conversation and have you meet some of our newest resident company members. I want viewers like you to get to know these great actresses because they're such an incredible addition to our Everyman family. And I'm sure many of you are excited to see them on our stages once we're able to get back to work. So first up, I want to introduce you to Miss Felicia Curry, most recently seen in Queen's Girl, Black in the Green Mountains at Everyman Theater. She's also been at many stages in the DC area. Hey, Felicia.
Hey.
Plays like Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Bus at the Kennedy Center, and Agnes of God at Factory Floor 49, where she's also a company member. She's done national tours and plays all over the country. Welcome to the show, Felicia.
I'm so happy to be here. Hey, everybody.
Yay! Next up, we have the fabulous Helen Hedman. At Everyman, you may have seen her at Murder on the Orient Express or The Importance of Being Earnest and that amazing play Outside Mullingar, among others. She's been at most DC theaters, including the Shakespeare Theater, Arena Stage, Signature, and the list goes on. Welcome, Helen. Great to see you.
It's fabulous to be here.
Yay! And then we have Katie Clygger. She's recently been in Pride and Prejudice at St. Louis Rep. Everything is Wonderful, directed by our Associate Artistic Director, Noah Himmelstein, at the Philadelphia Theater Company. She's worked across the country, and at Everyman, you've seen her in Proof, you've seen her in The Importance of Being Earnest, and Dancing at Lunasa. Welcome, Katie.
Thank you so much. Happy to be here.
It's so great to see you guys. We really miss being in a room together with you. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well, at least we could be here this way. I guess I should begin by just asking you how you've been holding up through the pandemic. I mean, this has been such a challenging time for artists and creative people in general. But, it's been 10 months since theaters across the country were shut down. What are you doing for yourself for self-care and to stay creative? Is there any key to keeping yourselves sane when you're not able to sort of play in the theater as you usually do?
I'll just start by saying every time you say 10 months, like my body clenches up, my eye, it's the visceral reaction just to hear that it's been that long. Like, we know it's been that long, but to hear it gets me every time. Every time.
Remember when we shut down, Felicia, right? You were doing Queen's Girl, Black in the Green Mountains.
Yes,
it had just opened. We had 2 other plays in the queue about to open. Yep. And we looked at each other and we were performing 1 minute or about to perform, and then it just went away. And we all thought we were like saying goodbye for a month.
Exactly. We thought we were coming back. I mean, so even that goodbye in March was sort of like, I'll see you in April. Yeah. And we'll do it again. And we're actually going to run a little bit longer because people are already excited about the show. So to be here all of these months later, I guess I'll just jump in and say we've obviously had the opportunity to film Queen's Girl. So I consider myself really one of the lucky ones because in this 10 months, I've actually had a rehearsal process, what I would call a tech experience, and a show. Now, people weren't in the seats, and it's our new normal at the moment, but I got to experience that. So I really do consider myself one of the lucky ones.
Well, I just learned that we were the first Lord Theater in the country allowed to go into rehearsal. Now, I just want to explain for viewers, we were allowed to go into rehearsal in order to prepare to film Queen's Girl, Black in the Green Mountains, so that we can offer it to our viewers and across the country, really. So, but that was a real gift. I mean, it's been a challenge. I know over 100 theaters have been trying to get back into rehearsal rooms, and with the pandemic, as tough as it's been, and the union has been really tough around safety plans and all. But our safety plan is 75 pages. I mean, you wouldn't believe what
And
the
it was wonderful, and I felt completely safe.
Oh, that's so great.
I mean, I really did. I really did. And it allowed me to be in the room. I think this is what everybody's worried about, being in the room and having to worry about what's happening. Am I going to give it to somebody? Am I going to get it from somebody? Am I going to get it when I walk out of the door? And what I will say is during our process, I didn't have to worry about that. I could simply worry about doing what we used to do, which is the show.
It's beautiful. It is weird though, like you're wearing your mask right up until the cameras roll.
Yeah.
You know, I was with the director in the lobby while you were performing, watching the robotic cameras work. It was wild. It was really an incredible process.
I will say it's a new it'll be a new skill, learning to do a full show wearing a mask.
Right.
I will say everybody get your lungs prepared and your body ready, because it will be a new skill to be able to get through an entire show masked. Whether we do that
after 10 months,
just wing it.
Yeah. Sorry, after 10 months, did you find, was it like riding a bike? I mean, do your muscles get weak? What? You know, you're back, suddenly you're back on stage. It's like.
I will say, because it's weird, because there was nothing that happened in between, because I didn't do anything else that required that of me, it really sort of was like riding a bike.
I bet.
Because my mind and my body had been holding on to it for 10 months. So once I got there in the space, I think everything was just like, oh, yes.
You know, we were all so excited. We were so excited when we opened that show. I mean, our patrons were just jonesing to come see it. We had already extended the run. So to have to shut it down was heartbreaking. And to be able to bring it back was very rewarding and exciting. Ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow it opens. If you the new world openings, right? We open online. We open in a streaming world tomorrow. It gets released, so please join us for that. Helen, you know, I noticed that you did a web series during the pandemic called was it called Homecoming or no Homebound?
Homebound.
What was that one?
Well, literally, like, you know, I think less than 2 weeks when the shutdown thing happened in March. I had been looking forward to, at the end of last season, doing a show called The Big Love at Roundhouse. And everybody got, and there was an in-rep. So everybody got an email from Ryan Roulette saying, we're canceling it. We can't do it. We're not going to be able to do it. And, you know, I think everybody emailed back going, well, what if we just wait? What if we can make it work? And he wisely said, nope, no. And then not long after that, maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks after that, they came up with this plan of doing a series addressing people being homebound. And 2 company members were constant. I did a scene with Craig, and Mabood was the other constant actors. You played not Helen Hedman, but your character was named Helen.
Amazing. Hey, Katie, what has it been like? What do you miss the most about being away from the theater?
Oh, and they had different playwrights right before we were.
That's all right. Technical difficulties. Katie, what do you miss most?
Honestly, I really, it's very simple things, like images that I kind of hold on to, and it kind of breaks my heart thinking about them, but kind of waking up in the morning, making coffee and going to work and doing the job that I love to do. Yeah. And I'm actually almost got emotional even just saying that, because it's so simple, and I can feel what I feel. And it's just this feeling of like self-respect and love for myself and love for what I do and love for the people that I'm working with. And just this extreme, the community and the creativity in that room, no matter what the room, it's my therapist always says that I'm my best self when I'm working, and she's noticed that, and it's always been true. So I miss that feeling I get within myself, I think.
I bet. Hey, Helen, I know that we had a little glitch there. You're back. So you were talking about Homebound. Tell me about what that experience was like.
Oh, well, it was a series of 10 things written by 10 different playwrights. And my thing was with Craig. and Craig Wallace. And right before we were going to start, the George Floyd was murdered. So we just revamped everything, and we kind of shuffled a couple of the other segments that were going to happen, and we did a segment that kind of addressed it, and it was beautifully written, where I played this sort of lady in the suburbs who was working for a farm stand, calling Craig, Craig's character had this arc of coming into really being an activist, because he wasn't going to get involved. And it was kind of one of those, a little bit of a two different worlds, but yet they still communed on a really, really beautiful level. And I loved it. And it happened in the moment. We did our own tech, which was, they dropped stuff off to the door, and you set it up, and it was all via Zoom and directed by Zoom.
You all shot it. It was all in your own homes, right?
It was all in our own homes. And Harold Burgess, who has done The Light for Every Man, was, okay, now move that light there. The equipment was great. I wish I had it all the time, but it was exhausting putting it up because I didn't know what I was doing. But it turned out
you're like hanging and focusing your own lights.
Right, and learning your lines. Yeah. But you can still see it on YouTube, on the Roundhouse YouTube channel.
Sure. Yeah, if you go to Roundhouse website, you can watch. There's, I think, 10 episodes. It's really interesting. I highly recommend.
It's really sweet. My God. It's good.
So, Katie, I want to come back to you for a minute, because I happen to know that you're a pretty magnificent guitar player and singer. Has that
wrong direction?
Well, there you go. Well, you guys, just did a beautiful postcard for the Everyman Theater, a digital postcard, and your Christmas song to our patrons it's a stunner. I really love it. But it was the first time I got a chance to hear you play and sing, and it was just fantastic. Do you sort of go to that creative place? That's something you can control in your own home. A way to be creative. Does that bring you much solace these days?
It's been life-saving, honestly, and especially at the beginning of this, like back in the spring. I don't know where the idea came from, but like 2 days into the New York City's stay-at-home order, I remember I turned to my friend and I said, what if I remotely wrote a song with like a whole bunch of people? And he was like, yeah. So I, used social media and posted on Instagram, and within like a week, the entire project was finished. But I did this I wrote a song. I sent it I made an order of like 12 people. I sent it off, and they each had 2 hours to add on to it. And they could do whatever they wanted. And basically, it was kind of incredible, like what ended up happening, and really emotional too. Like it's on YouTube, actually, the end product, but it's a bunch of people just adding on their own part to this song. And then you have this huge chorus of people like a few days into just being kept into their apartments. Little did we know, 10 months later, it's like still going. I did it a second time, and it was just as exciting. So honestly, writing and playing music has been, as I said, life-saving.
So if we go to YouTube and look you up, we're going to...
Yeah, exactly. You could just type my name in. It's probably one of the first things that comes up. I think the only 2 things I've uploaded are those 2, I don't have a name for them, but group songs, I guess.
I love it. I'm totally going there after this.
Yeah, you should.
Oh, it's really great. I love that. Also, Miss Felicia Curry, has been known to sing a song or two.
A little.
You'd sing just a little. Let me ask you a question. I know that you were slated to do Color Purple at Signature, and I think that was another casualty of the pandemic. Is there any hope that they might do it in the future?
I'm going to say yes. Nobody can make any promises right now. And honestly, I prefer it that way. I prefer not to, not to get hopes up for things that may or may not happen. I know it's out there. I really hope that we get a chance to do it someday. I really want to bring Seeley to DC.
Yeah.
I want DC, Baltimore, Virginia. to see it. And I want to share that with everybody. And I'm just going to hold on to the hope that I'm going to get a chance to do that.
I am desperate to see you do that because I just feel like it is a perfect fit that you would just knock it out of the park. Have you, I think I saw somewhere on a resume of yours or a bio, did you do The Color Purple before?
I did. I did it in 2014 in Richmond.
Where? In Richmond.
Richmond.
Okay, great. Was it a good experience? I mean, it's such a beautiful.
It was amazing. I was actually the only out of town person to be in the show. So to be able to do the show with Richmonders in Richmond, full black cast,
nice.
was amazing. Was amazing. I mean, it's just beautiful storytelling. And if you don't know the show, you should read the book and then go see the movie.
Yeah.
But it's just, again, and a story I think that's important for the time. I mean, I could talk on and on and on about it. But female empowerment, resilience, we're in the middle of it right now. So that's I guess what's disappointing and sad is that it's timely, it's important now. And I'm sad we don't get to have it now.
Yeah. Now listen, I know Katie and Helen have worked together, and I know Helen and Felicia have worked together. Mm-hmm. But has Katie and Felicia ever worked together?
No.
Not yet.
Well, not yet, exactly. Not yet.
We're going to have to cook something up for that.
I love
I'm taking recommendations via email and text.
All right, expect some emails.
That's what you want to see. I will say, Vinny, that's been one of the great things. People don't say great things about the pandemic. I hate to sort of lead it like that. But one of the things that has come out of the pandemic that I think is really exciting is the opportunity to work with people you haven't worked with around the country and around the world. Yeah. We wouldn't be able to do that if we were live and in person, but here we are trying to create now in this virtual world, and it allows us to be present with people everywhere. And that is exciting. It's exciting to be in the room with Katie right now and to get to know her, because if we were live, we wouldn't have this experience. And so I'm grateful for those.
Yeah. Well, when I think about the whole Queen's Girl experience, right? So it was a crushing blow to lose the live performances. And then we were afforded the gift of being able to go back in the room and then you were able to, bring it to performance level again. And then we filmed it. And now tomorrow we're going to release that. But the pandemic also allowed us to go back and look at the archival video for Queen's Girl in the World and Queen's Girl in Africa, which was 2 seasons ago at Everyman. And we actually were, we had our sound engineer has completely trained himself on video editing, and he was able to knit together the 2 camera angles that we had for those 2 shows and create beautiful versions for the audience. And now we would never have been able to do this in real time. The unions are allowing things that they never allowed before, and we never, quite frankly, had the skills. But now that we realize people can't come to the theater, we're going to be able to offer all 3 Queen's Girl plays, plus an inside look conversation with the 3 actresses who played Queen's Girl. So Dawn Ursula, Erica Rose, Felicia Curry, the playwright herself, Colleen Sinnott Jennings, and the fabulous director of all 3, Paige Hernandez, our new associate artistic director, along with Noah. So these Queen's Girls will be in conversation about the making of Queen. I mean,
it's exciting.
It's such a blessing. So if you're looking for something positive, please go to Everyman's website and order these plays, because you'll love them. Anyway, sorry, enough of the plug. So I've got to find a play for Katie and Felicia.
Please,
that's fine.
Yes. Maybe music is a part of it too, Vinny. Because I didn't realize
there you
you
go.
sang well, Katie. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, what do you miss most about about acting? What do you miss most? And this is for anybody who care to answer.
It's the actual real-time relationship. It's the actual looking at a person, having that energy. We've all done, I'm sure, a lot of readings And, you have your script on the screen and you're looking at the camera, and I've, managed to finesse that early on. So you can do that and pretend like you're relating, but to have that person there just brings your soul out. Yeah. You can bring as much as you can out on the camera, but sometimes it's exhausting, but it's not a good exhausting. Like a good workout of a play is fabulous.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Anything, Katie? No?
Oh, I mean, I that was a fantastic answer, Helen. I love the way that you said it brings your soul out. That's exactly how it feels. I'm such a weird, I'm like, all I can think of are these really specific images. Like now I'm thinking about like, it's always coffee, isn't it? Just my equity cup of coffee. I love the rituals involved, like the rituals that we have and that I have, and like my little space in my dressing room. And I don't know why it's these little things that keep popping out, but that's what kind of comes to me.
Sure. I love to what, every actor I know has a routine of things you do to gear up to the half hour. And then the moment where you'll lose yourself in your character and take the leap off the cliff every night into this play. I miss the audience. I miss people being in a room, living and breathing as one, right? There's something about that.
I was watching a video of a concert at Madison Square Garden, like it was on YouTube. And I just started crying. This is like the other night, because like at one point the musicians like had them sing a part in the song. And I was just overcome by thousands and thousands of people coming together in this artistic setting and creating something together, kind of, just shoulder to shoulder, sweaty, and like I was like, oh my god, I will never take that for granted again.
Yeah, I know. So dangerous. You look at it now, you're like, oh my god,
put a mask on.
Yeah. Taking a wide step, give that person wide breath. No, I know. I miss it too. I miss it a lot. What do you look forward to? What are you looking forward to?
So I didn't get to say anything about The Last Dancer, but that's because you all said all of the things that I was saying. Literally, you said the audience, I miss it so much. The ritual, I miss it so much. The connection to the people on stage. I'm going to add a little piece of, it sounds so crazy, but like learning lines. Remember when you had to learn your lines and like you weren't allowed to have something in front of you? Yeah. It's so crazy, but again, being able to walk into the building, knowing that those lines were there, something we haven't been able to do in a long time. I'm looking forward to combining all of everything that's been said, the ritual of learning my lines, walking in the room with my scene partner, and being able to share that scene with the audience.
Yeah.
There's a room full of thousands of people who are able to listen to it. I mean, because I get scared talking about it, because when will we be in a room with thousands of people shoulder to shoulder again? I know. Do you know what I mean? Like, when is that going to happen?
I don't know. I wondered, now that you bring up the learning of lines, I've known a lot of mature actors that have worked in soaps and stuff that say, learning lines keeps my mind alert and fresh. And I know other people that are religious crossword puzzle doers, and they say the same thing as later in life. They're like, it keeps me alert and, red and fresh. And I feel like those might be some of the muscles that, that you worry about, am I going to be as good at remembering those lines if I step away from it? I think you should go away after this and start memorizing something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
From a good play, and we'll do it.
It's the structure that you say, what do you miss? There's that whole structure. Waking up, I've had that structure in my life for 45, 46, something like years. So I was at sea. The garden looked great. I'll probably complain because I'm an actor about missing the garden, but that's part of my process. But that structure of, okay, this is this time, this is now I get ready. Now I'm going to go to the theater, and this is my schedule. during whatever the rehearsal period is, of having that structure and thinking, I was thinking about the Everyman Shop with Trevor, how, they religiously take and they were still, working, and okay, time to take a break. Now it's, we take our break now, 1 hour, whatever. And I felt like, what's her name? Fanny Cavendish in Royal Family, I'm thinking about the theater, half hour. But I miss that structure, the discipline. And it's very hard. It's not extremely hard, but it is hard to make yourself have that discipline.
Yes.
When you're preparing something, then you get back in it and you're like, I'm in the groove.
Right.
It's only for like, a couple days right now.
Dream roles? Do you have roles that, you're like, oh my God, if I don't get to play this role, I'm going to have to kill myself. What? It's a little extreme, but how about I'm really jonesing to play this role? That's enough. Is there anything out there?
I feel like when people ask this question, like, it's like, what's your favorite movie? I have like a million answers to this, but as soon as it's asked, my mind goes so blank.
Okay. Which one do I choose? Which one do I choose?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think I go to like, sorry, Helen. I always think about like Shakespeare, like that's not what I generally have been doing, but I think maybe it's just the grandness of the phrase, like a dream role. And like, I think my time crazily enough may have passed for Juliet, but like, I think there is something about, but it might, I don't know, maybe Juliet, or like, also like, I was just rereading
the casting of Romeo. Right.
That's true.
We just make it the world, right? And you can do that in Shakespeare, right? You can change the age, the size, set it whenever you want it. Make it culturally specific, but it'll adapt to so many different points of view. So no, Juliet is not past Juliet.
Absolutely not.
No.
Thanks.
I do think it is a bit of a trap for an actor when a director says, do you have any dream roles? That's like, oh, come on, stop it. Yeah. But that's okay. When you think about them, send them to me anyway. I expect you to. I want to know what you want to do.
I was just going to say, Vinny, I would love, especially coming out of everything that's happened during the pandemic, to sort of put a spin on what people think their dream roles are. I'm hoping that happens after this, after everything that's happened, that we as actors start to recreate what those dream roles are, and the artistic directors and directors start to recreate that for us. So obviously I have my dream roles as a Black actress, but I would love to dip into those things that I don't even think I'm capable of, or that the audience isn't prepared to see. I put that out there as, I don't know what that is, but I would love to be challenged in that way and discover.
I really feel like you want to talk about positive things coming out of horrible things. I actually think the future of casting is wide open. And I think it's good, and not in a colorblind way, in a culturally intentioned way. I think we're going to see some really interesting roles become available for people that you never would have seen in those roles before.
Getting to hear these classic stories told in a new way.
Yeah.
So when you say is Juliet never. It's never off the table for you, because I want to hear your version of Juliet. Period. Right.
Opposite Eric Berryman's Romeo.
Exactly.
And you know what I mean? We can cast the whole thing in the company. You know what I mean? So, anyway.
Yes.
We're almost out of time. So I guess I'm going to ask one more question. And that is, what are you looking forward to most when the pandemic is over?
Being able to see my mom, my dad, my brother, my niece, without having to make it, without any of the conversation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, it's friends and family.
Yeah.
Being able to hug people, being able to see somebody and actually hug them and not be afraid to do that.
Right.
like I used to, like hold on tight, squeeze them as hard as I can.
Yes.
Uncomfortably.
Yes. So totally. Well, listen, ladies, I wish I had more time, but I can't thank you enough for, just showing our viewers a little bit of who you are. And we all can't wait to see you back in the theater again, or on the screen, or however we can get you. I want to remind people, please, please, please go to Everyman's website and make sure you see these fabulous Queens Girl plays. I promise you, this character has never been on the American stage. Go see it. She should be all over the American stage. And now she can be, because she's unfettered by time and space, right? On demand. Go for it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
So
you.
great to see you all.